Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Welcome to the May 2017 Data Platform and Advanced Analytics Partner Community Call. And we have an exciting lineup of presentation and speakers today. So I'll quickly go through the agenda first, and then I'll share some announcements. My name is Sri Ganapathy. I'm a technology strategist in our partner community team. So if you've joined the call before, hopefully you know me by now, but I'll share my email address here in a minute so you can send me any questions that you may have. Today we have a couple of really interesting topics. We'll start off first with the Cortana Intelligence Solution templates. We'll have Joanna from our engineering team present that for you, and those that may have joined the call previously know Joanna. She presented last time as well, and she's our engineering point of contact, and also will lead our engineering office hours initiative that we announced last time. So if you have any questions that you need some help from the product team perspective or any feedback, you can also email us or share that on Yammer or share it on this call. And then after Joanna is done, we'll also have Kevin and Christy from our M&O marketing and operations team talk about another very useful resource, which is our Microsoft Handson Labs, which is a great way for you to take advantage of with your customers, or even as you're building demonstrations and things like that. We have a great tool available completely free to try out and learn a lot of the topics around data platform and analytics and cloud in general. So we'll have Kevin and Christy talk about it in the second half of the call. Before I hand it over to Joanna, I'm going to share a couple of quick announcements. The very first one, as you probably already know, we have a lot of different avenues to get connected with us. On the data platform and advanced analytics community, we have a number of different forums as partners for you to take advantage of. The community call series, which we are on now, is a monthly occurrence, and I definitely encourage you to sign up for the remaining calls, and also encourage your coworkers to do so. This is where we will share a lot of information, and we'll have great presenters like the ones that we have today from engineering and M&O share content. We also have a series of blogs, and you see the link there, where we will share relevant topics there as well. And then our Yammer group is probably the best way for you to get engaged with us on, because that's an ongoing forum for you to discuss any questions or issues that you have. We have around 600 partners and Microsoft people on the Yammer group today, just focused on data platform and analytics. So it's a great way for you to share best practices, ask questions, etc. And then my email address is at the bottom of the screen, so you can definitely feel free to contact me directly. And not just data platform, but we also obviously have a lot of other workload streams here at Microsoft. So you can feel free to leverage any of the other ones if you're interested in, for example, Office 365 or application development or Windows. We have a lot of different community forums, just like the one we have here for data platform. So hopefully you'll take advantage of all these resources that we have for you. One of the other things that we did recently in our Yammer forum is we actually presented a series of calls. In fact, a couple of my peers were on the call today, Sumit and Rishi and Kajal. They are the solution architects who actually presented on how do you prepare for some of the certification exams. So the two certification exams that we focused on were 7473 and 7475. Both related to data platform and analytics. And so if any of you are interested in taking these exams, we have some really good prep guides for you, and we also have recorded these calls and posted it on our Yammer site. So I encourage you to take a look at that, or you can send me email directly. This call will also be recorded, and it'll be posted on the Yammer group, and all the slides will be available on that same Yammer group. A couple of other announcements related to certification. We also have a promotion going on right now. If any of you are taking these exams, if you can do so before June 15th, you actually can get up to 50% off on certain qualifying exams. So again, I encourage you to check on that link that I have on the slide. There's a blog post that talks about it. So it's a great time for you to think about getting certifications. Last but not the least, we have our Microsoft Inspire conference coming up. This used to be called Worldwide Partner Conference, or WPC. This is our exclusive partner focused conference, right? So this conference is meant for Microsoft partners, and it's on July 9th to 13th. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you already signed up. And if you haven't, you can take a look at the link there. It's primarily focused at the business audience from a partner perspective. So there's lots of different breakout sessions We have keynotes from our CEO, Satya, and several others. So definitely, if you're interested in this, I'd encourage you to, sign up and register until July 8th. You see the price there, and after that, the price will increase. So you probably want to do that before that. All right, so I think that's all I had on my side. With that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask our first presenter of the day, Joanna, from our engineering team, to take over and start sharing with you all around this great resource that we have, which is called the Cortana Intelligence Templates. So Joanna, the floor is yours.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sriram. So my name is Joanna Podgoetsky, and I'm a program manager on the Cortana Intelligence Partner Engineering team. And I'm going to be talking to you today about the solution templates. So solution templates have been around for a little while now. We did launch our first set of solution templates last year. But those of you who watched the Data Ramp event on the 19th of April may have noticed that we did announce 3 new solution templates. And I'm going to be focusing on one of them today, and I'll touch a little bit upon the other ones, but I wanted to just give a bit of a deep dive and a bit of an insight into the solution templates, what they're for, how they work. We'll go through the costing behind them, and we'll talk a little bit about the who, so the process and the advanced analytics framework buyer journey as well. So we announced 3 new solution templates, and the idea behind the solution templates is not to prescribe a way to solve the business problem that they're dealing with, but rather they're there to help you customize, basically help you customize the solution for your customer. So the 3 areas that, the 3 business problems that we've released templates for are personalization. And the example we use is personalization in retail for a retail scenario, demand forecasting and price optimization, and that's also used in a retail context, and predictive maintenance or quality assurance in manufacturing. So each of these solutions have certain hero scenarios associated with the solution. And the idea there is that you can use that for, really any vertical that it's going to be relevant for. So the great thing about these solution templates is that you can actually deploy the solution straight into your Azure subscription. And we also have how-to guides, which are available on GitHub, which provides you with step-by-step instructions on how to deploy the solutions into your Azure subscription. Now, these solution templates, they're actually created based on patterns that we found were repeatable patterns through a real-life customer engagement. So our engineering team engaged in solutions for JP Morgan, JG Foods, and Jabil. And learnings were taken from those engagements, patterns were extracted, and feedback was gathered. So as I mentioned, the whole purpose behind them was to accelerate the next generation of data and AI application for each hero scenario. Now, the scenario that we'll be talking about today, or spending the most time on, is the quality assurance manufacturing scenario solution template. So the quality assurance scenario is all around predictive maintenance. So there's a number of different verticals that these apply to. So you've got banking, so you've got the idea of predictive maintenance for ATMs. You also have just manufacturing, which the example used for this template, which is around factory floor predictive maintenance. You can also use it for vehicle telemetry, service parts optimization, etc. It's also relevant in retail and healthcare type scenarios. So doing things like predictive maintenance for medical devices, predictive maintenance for in-store equipment, etc. So the important thing to understand here is that it really can be applied to a number of different verticals. Most of you would be familiar with this particular diagram. I'm not going to spend time on it, but I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about the quality assurance and manufacturing architecture diagram here. So this is the solution architecture diagram for this particular solution. So basically what we're doing here is we're simulating a data ingestion that would normally happen in a, say, a factory or manufacturing floor. So in this solution template, we have a data simulation, which is ingesting data into an Azure Services Event Hub. So that's where the data is taking place. And then that's near real-time data analytics pipeline is using Azure Stream Analytics. So basically streaming that data through the data that we're ingesting through the Stream Analytics. And then we're doing real-time predictions based on historical data about factory line, assembly line failures. We're doing real-time predictions around whether a particular assembly line step is going to have a failure. Okay, so the example that we've used, or the real-life customer engagement that we based this template on, was basically they manufacture an assembly line that they use to manufacture computer motherboards. So we're basically using, this is based off that particular engagement. So we're basically doing real-time predictions using machine learning to make predictions about whether a particular assembly line step is going to fail or not. We're basically publishing that data to a Power BI dashboard, and we're storing it. We're storing all the real-time events and all of the predictions that we're generating through the Azure ML model in our Azure SQL data house. Okay, so that's a very simple overview of all the different components that are in play here. Okay, so a little bit more about why we're doing this. So in an assembly line, trying to be proactive and trying to preempt failures is really important. The reason for that is because the later in the manufacturing line that you actually establish a failure, the more expensive it's going to be, the more of a waste of time and materials it's going to be for the manufacturer. So the idea behind this is basically to try and identify slowdowns, errors, and predicting potential failures before they occur. So that's the use case. So the challenge that the customer was facing in this scenario was that there was a continuous requirement to increase yield and reduce the amount of scrap and rework. So the traditional inspection techniques became outdated, and there was basically, in this example here, you can see there's a number of stations set up, right? And it could be that a failure occurs and they have no way of really knowing exactly when that failure occurred. So what we basically did was we helped them design, based on the Cortana Intelligence Suite services, we helped them design an ML model and a process which is going to better predict where in that assembly line that particular error occurred. Okay, so that's the concept behind it. So it uses a very generic machine learning model. It uses a machine model, but we don't want to spend too much on the actual machine learning model because it could be anything. The idea behind it is that, so to give you an example, the machine learning model that was used in this experiment was a 2-class linear SVM classifier. But rather than focusing too much on the specifics on what was done in this specific experiment, it's a good idea to read the predictive maintenance playbook that we have and run through the modeling guide for a better understanding of how you should be approaching the data science problem to begin with. But yes, this particular this particular template used a 2-class linear SVM classifier. So that kind of brings us to the question of whether the customer is ready for machine learning. So the idea is the better the raw materials, the better the end product is going to be. So we want to make sure that when we're trying to solve a problem with machine learning, that the question that we're asking is not a generic vague question. It's a very sharp and specific question. So we want to predict whether a particular component will fail in the next 3 days, for example. So we always want to make sure that our question is sharp and we're addressing something specific. We want to make sure that the data measures what we care about. So you want to identify identifiers at the level that you're predicting. We want to make sure the data that we have is accurate. So one of the challenges of manufacturing line is potentially there manual intervention that occurred in the assembly line steps? Is there other failures really legitimately failures? So having human labels on root causes is really important. So having very accurate data is going to only improve the process. You want to make sure the data is connected and that there is a lot of data available. So So the more data you have, the more accurate your model is going to be. So what I want to do now is just give you an insight into the gallery, how you can actually access these templates, and do a bit of a demonstration. So okay. So basically, I mentioned that we have a number of solution templates that we've recently released. Now, we have a lot more, so many of you would be familiar with the Cortana Intelligence Solution Gallery. If you're not, then it's a good idea to have a browse on all the different solutions that we have available. You can always search for the specific use case that you're interested in, and it's quite likely that we'll have something that resembles what you're looking for, whether it's just an experiment or a specific machine learning model that you're looking for, etc. Now, the three new ones, as I mentioned, so we have personalized offers, we have quality assurance, and demand forecasting. And we also recently released loan credit risk with SQL Server, which is making use of predictive analytics to reduce the number of loans that borrowers are likely to default on. So that's another one that might be interesting to this audience. But the ones that we're concentrating on are the three that I mentioned. So with the quality assurance for manufacturing one, which we're concentrating on today, if you click on the template, you have the option to deploy this template straight into your Azure subscription, or you can actually just try it. The try now option just gives you an insight into what the Power BI dashboard is going to look like. Okay, so it's really up to you whether, which one you want to go for, but we do have some information here on the actual solution diagram and the technical details and workflow. So if you click deploy, it's going to give you a couple of fields to fill out around what you want to call the resource group and things like that. And then it's going to actually deploy the entire solution into your Azure subscription. And it's going to do that. Usually it's not going to take you more than an hour to deploy it. And it also gives you an estimated daily cost as well. So this particular solution is going to cost approximately $86.29. To run on a daily basis with all the different Azure components, and that's a very base level, based on a base level amount of data, which I'm going to talk to you about later on. So it's really as easy as filling in these details and clicking deploy. And once you've done that, I wanted to show what it actually looks like. So once you've actually deployed it, this is what it looks like. So it takes you through all of the Azure services that have been deployed. So the first service that it deploys is the Azure Application Service, and that's going to host the online data generator that we spoke about earlier. So that's simulating the data ingestion, which would normally come from your assembly line. And then you've got your Azure Event Hub, and it tells you exactly what it's being used for. So the Azure Event Hub is used to ingest the data from the online data generator. It's for, everything's kind of explained very clearly in each step. You have the Azure Stream Analytics, which is used to process the data from the Event Hub and redirect the data to multiple outlets. So that's outputs rather. So that's where it's basically redirecting the data to your machine learning model, and then doing the streaming and then outputting into your Power BI dashboard. And then you have your Azure Machine Learning Studio, where it's actually deploying the machine learning models for each assembly. And you can go ahead and customize that for your customer scenario if it's relevant to you. And then you've got your Azure storage, etc. So you can actually click on each of these resources, and you can have a look at what's going on there. So that's the nice thing about these solution templates, is that everything is very clearly outlined, and you just have the option of deploying it straight into your Azure subscription. Okay, so this is just an overview of the Event Hub, so you can get an idea of what that looks like. So as I mentioned earlier, you've got your machine learning models as well. They get displayed, and they look something like this. So you've basically got a number of experiments that get deployed, and you can have a look at what they're doing, and you can play around and customize them for your scenario. So Here, it basically by default out of the box deploys 5 experiments for this particular solution template. Okay, so this is a great way to accelerate your deployment and get started. Now, before I move on, I just want to go off the course of solution templates for a little bit and mention that even though you can deploy all of this into your Azure subscription, we also have very detailed how-to guides. So these how-to guides, they're available in GitHub, and they have all of the steps required in order to do this yourselves. So rather than deploying it through the solution templates, some architects prefer to be able to get a step-by-step visibility into how each step is carried out, and it might help some people understand how the solution fits together. So this is the solution how-to guide, and this is another thing that the engineering team has been working on releasing, as well as the solution template. So make sure that you do have a look at both, and you might find that the manual deployment guide or the solution how-to guide might be something that's going to make more sense for you, or at least help you understand how the manual deployments work. So we have these solution how-to guides available for each of the solution templates that I'm talking about as well. Now, we've got the deployment out of the way. What I wanted to show you as well, so when you click Try It Now, you get an insight into the Power BI dashboard. So you get an idea of the kind of information that you can extract or the type of analysis you can perform based on this solution template. So here we've got the pass rate by assembly line step. So this solution template only has 5 assembly line steps for this particular example. In reality, a manufacturing assembly line is going to have many more steps than that, typically, and you've got the pass rate by step. And then you have your most recent events and predictions, whether they passed or failed. And then you've got the ability to track your sensor over time, etc. And you can also filter the dashboard on the hour of the day. And it just gives you an idea of what you can actually do with the output. So it's just, that's what happens when you click Try It Now, you get the Power BI dashboard. So that's some basics around the quality assurance for manufacturing solution. I'm just going to pop back over into my slide. So as I mentioned, you can go ahead and start deploying these templates through the Cortana Intelligence Solution Gallery. Sorry, it's just the deck has been reset, unfortunately. So basically, you can go ahead and start deploying these, or you can leverage the solution how-to guides. And the solution how-to guides, as I mentioned, are a really great way to get started. Now, another solution template that we have out is the personalized offers for retail solution. So the idea behind personalized offers is that the idea is it's an online, the example that we use for the template rather, it's an online retail store. And based on the user preferences and all the information that we have available on the user's browsing history, this solution enables us to provide them with more appealing offers that are going to be relevant to that particular user. So this particular example bases it on the user preference, shopping history, viewing history, what they clicked on, etc. And the nice thing about this solution is that there's a hot path and a cold path. So if it's a user that's visited your site before, then we have a solution that's going to be relevant to them, and then we've got a hot and a cold path available. So the goals behind this solution, of course, to increase revenue. So shoppers are going to be much more likely to respond to an offer that's based on something that they're interested in, and also building profiles on the user search history, increase traffic, etc. Now, this is the architecture behind the personalized offers solution. So similar to the quality assurance, we have a simulated user action simulation. So basically, depending on what the user clicks on, that's going to generate a different action, right? So in the gray box, we've got the user simulation. In the blue box in the middle, we've got the intelligent decisions. So the intelligent decisions are going to be based on personalized offer logic, which is retrieved from a document DB source. If there is user history, that's going to basically grab that user history and it's going to produce product recommendations based on ML models, based on what they've searched on before. If the user has, it's the first time and they've just performed one click, it's going to do a cold start product recommendation. So it's going to basically look at an office table and basically offer up frequently bought together items. And that's what that particular solution looks like. It then is going to bring those offers back into as input into the Event Hub. So it's going to have raw clickstream data and performance data, which is basically gathering all sorts of data about that particular user interaction. It's going to stream it through the Stream Analytics service. Everything that happens will be collected in a raw stream data. So everything that happens gets logged, and then we have the streaming aggregates streamed to a Power BI dashboard as well. Okay, so that's the basics around the personalized offers for retail architecture solution, which you can also deploy through the Cortana Intelligence Solution Gallery. Now, this is what the dashboard is going to look like. So you get some good metrics on the offer. You have basically insights into, the offers, what the user clicked on, where the users are from. So you can basically customize this as you see fit, depending on, what products there are and what kind of, distribution of geographical distribution, etc. And there's basically actions. So you've got information around clicks, abandoned pages, views, cart information, etc. That's going to help you build an accurate model. You have behaviors. So if there's information on past customer behavior, that's all stored as well. And then demographic information as well, and product and offer information that gets generated as a result of all of these things. Okay, so I mentioned there's a hot path and a cold path as well. So the hot path is going to store current user data and also aggregates into multiple time periods as well. This is straight out of the box. That's how it behaves. And then you've got the cold path, which is going to analyze user history to facilitate real-time personalized offers. And these are all the services that come into play with this particular solution. Now, I want to touch a little bit upon the costing. So when you deploy each of these solution templates, the nice thing about it is that it does give you that cost estimate, but this is a bit of a breakdown, which we haven't released yet publicly, but we will release the pricing breakdown behind each solution template, just to give customers and partners an idea of, what does $86 a day really mean? How many streaming units is that based on? How much storage is that based on, etc. So this gives you some idea of what we're baselining that on. So the quality assurance solution is going to cost roughly $86 per day to run. The personalization for retail, as you saw, it uses a lot of different of data services. So we have Azure Storage in play there. We have Azure ML. We've got a Redis cache. We've got DocumentDB, Azure Functions, App Services, and Event Hubs. So that one's going to be about $304 a day. And as I mentioned, none of this is intended to be prescriptive. We want you to customize it. We want our partners to go ahead and create their own custom solutions based on this. So one thing I would really love to understand is, how enthusiastic our partner community is about these concepts. Are you already using them, whether you can see yourself using them, and how useful you see this versus the solution how-to guides, which I demonstrated earlier, which is the GitHub repository of the technical step-by-step deployments. So any feedback that you have is going to be much appreciated. There will also be a poll at the end where you'll get the opportunity to provide me some insight into that. So the customer decision framework and buyer's journey. So basically, some of the questions I get asked by partners is, who is the audience and how does the process work, and who are we kind of pitching this to? So the data scientist is going to be often one of the key influences in the buyer's journey. So often it's going to be the data scientist that really understands what the product capabilities are, and there's also going to be the line of business DM as well. So that's going to be the person that, the line manager that owns the budget. Then there's going to be an evaluation phase where the decision maker and the data scientist talk. They have a specific business problem to solve, such as personalization. So they're going to be evaluating what technologies can solve that particular problem. A data architect will often be involved, and developers will be involved as well. And then there's going to be an IT decision maker in play, because they're going to want to really base the platform that they use based on existing technology. So if you're really already a company that's very much invested in a particular platform, it's, you know, a lot more appealing to stay with the same software vendor or the same company to make the deployment a lot easier. And you're going to have a direct architect and a developer that's going to be assisting with all of this. So this is just a bit of an insight into what the buyer's journey might look like. So you've got the discover learn phase, then your evaluation phase, and then you're going to basically have the line of business decision maker negotiate and finalize the purchase with the vendor. Now, just got a couple of minutes left. I also wanted to touch upon the solution templates on AppSource. So hopefully all the partners are familiar and showcasing on AppSource. If you're not, I highly recommend having a look at AppSource, seeing what your competitors are doing, see what other SIs are doing. We have a number of SIs that we look after that are on AppSource already, showcasing their solutions. But we also have these templates that we have a program where we're also showcasing our first-party solutions with associated partners. So some of the partners on this call may be early adopter partners, and you'd be listed on AppSource already. And basically, this is basically a way in which, you know, you can have customers get in contact with you for a specific first-party solution. So this is just AppSource, and just really trying to demonstrate the fact that we are investing heavily in AppSource. We want to see our partners showcase on AppSource, and we will continue to publish solution templates on AppSource with partners that we recommend as early adopter partners for the solution template. Okay, so basically, love for you to start deploying these solution templates by the Cortana Intelligence Gallery. There's also GitHub links. So all the GitHub links that I demonstrated earlier, they will be in this presentation, which Shriram will surely share with you. I love to hear your feedback. So I'd really love to hear how valuable you think these solution templates are, as well as the GitHub how-to guides. If you do have any feedback, I'd love to hear from you. Pop me an email with your feedback. I'm happy to hop on a call and have a chat. But I'm really after some feedback around whether you can see yourselves using them going forward. And this is basically the resources which you'll receive from Shriram. So it has the links to the GitHub guide, the how-to guides, and also a link to the gallery, which I'm sure most of you are already familiar with. So with that, I'd like to hand over to Shriram, who's going to just do a quick poll. So Shriram, would you mind popping up that poll?
Yeah, absolutely, Joanna. I just did. So I just popped up a poll. It should show up. So if you can give us some feedback on the solution templates, whether you find it useful or you plan to use it immediately, etc. There's a few options. If you can give us that feedback, that'll greatly help Joanna and the team to understand where to invest and kind of get your feedback based on that. So, and Joanna, there are also a couple of questions. I'll let you kind of take it offline in the interest of time on the messages panel. But thank you so much for presenting. And as you can see, partners, the solution templates, I think, are a great way for you to get jump started, on your projects. And also AppSource, like Joanna mentioned, is another great avenue. If you haven't already taken advantage of it, take a look at AppSource today to see what solutions are available from other partners. And more importantly, if you have any solutions that you want to showcase, definitely leverage that resource, because you also once the solutions get published, once it meets all the criteria, then it's a great way for you to showcase and get customers looking at it as an automated marketing tool. So thank you for all the information, Joanna. So what I'm going to do now is to pass this on to our next presenter. So Kevin and Christy are our next presenters, and they're going to talk about Microsoft Hands-On Labs, which is another great resource for you and your customers to take advantage of. It's a free hands-on experience. So as you're building your applications on advanced analytics and data-driven applications, you can get a live hands-on experience with this Hands-On Labs program. And Kevin and Christy are going to talk about this. So Kevin and Christy, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present the Hands-On Lab program to you today. I just wanted to do a quick introduction. I'm Christy DeSico. I'm the Experience Selling Lead on the U.S. C&E Customer Experience team, and I own the Microsoft Hands-On Lab program in the U.S. And one of my responsibilities is taking the new revamped Hands-On Lab platform and landing it with our U.S. partners and field sellers. So I own the execution of the program. I'm responsible for driving program readiness, facilitator training, and the overall rollout of the program. Also presenting with me today is Kevin Engman. He's a PMM on my team and the subject matter expert of this program. He works closely with me to drive the program readiness and execution as well. So I hope you find this to be a valuable sales tool that you can start leveraging today. And if you have any questions or feedback on the program, please don't hesitate to reach out to Kevin and I. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Kevin. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Christy, and hello, everybody. Pleasure to talk with you today, and thank you for attending the call. And Shriram, thank you again for allowing us this opportunity to go ahead and talk about the Microsoft Hands-On Labs. This program actually has been around for 5 years. It started off as the private cloud immersion. You may have seen it or heard it about as the cloud platform immersion. Those are how as Microsoft has developed and evolved its cloud platform story. The program has changed as well. Well, so is the platform now, and that's why when Christy says it's a revamped way, we've revamped the platform. Worldwide team has. We're here in the U.S. subsidiary, but the worldwide team owns the platform, and they have revamped it to make it more accessible to partners, allow for quicker updates to the program, and just a lot more breadth across all of the scenarios and experiences that you might have. So, but, kind of for those that don't know what it would be, what is the Microsoft Hands-On Lab? Well, it is a free sales tool, and it really enables our partners and our field sellers to showcase the benefits of Microsoft cloud technologies, and not just in a siloed way, but across productivity, platform, and applications. And they do that by providing your customers and our customers a live hands-on lab experience that really simulates the real-world business and technical challenges that are out there. So we work with partners, our PMs work with our customers. We gather that information, what is impacting people today, and where are they trying to get to tomorrow? And that's where we really have set this program up, is to outline that for folks so they can understand, oh, I'm thinking about this, or how is that going to impact me, or why do I care about that as the developer team? Why do I care what the data center team is doing? Data is data. It just comes down, doesn't it? Where does it live? How does it work? Well, it really shows everybody around the whole organization a way to get hands-on. So you're able to tell a consistent message all across that. And it's delivered by our trained facilitators, and that's where we come to our partners. A main lever in that to go out and help train and talk and walk these people through, your customers through that. It's also done by our TSPs and our ATSs as well. If you're thinking about, well, who would do this at Microsoft? It's that kind of that technical role that really does the experience portion, the hands-on lab area. And it can be done anywhere, so really virtually or in person. In person is the one we'll talk about more here today, but there are other flavors that you can do to be able to match the needs of your company and your customers. It also spans, originally it was all an EPG play 5 years ago, but now we have it goes across all segments. So it's enterprise, it's mid-market, it's SMB. As we all know, some of your largest customers could be, 6 or 7 people that are driving that much revenue. It could be, a company that has 100,000 seats that is driving that much revenue. It all depends on what they're doing, and you're able to talk to them and help them get to where they need to be. And it is really the experience portion of this is really targeted at your IT pros, but really around the decision makers, so line of business or ITMs, your ITIs or your dev folks with this portion of the experience. We provide content. You have content that talks to the BDMs, and that is something you can loop in. I'll talk about that and show that where that would fit in, say, a full day event. But realistically, the hands-on lab portion is really targeting those folks because you're providing them some of that BDM knowledge, but then getting them their hands-on so they can understand why this is impacting my business, how this will impact my team, and how this will impact me as I move forward and really driving it through into conclusion. So think of it this way: with the consistent messaging and this, you're becoming a trusted advisor. Not that you aren't already there, but now they've like, hey, I've heard this from Microsoft. I've seen this. I understand what's going on. This is where it is, and thank you very much because you guys are helping me do this. So realistically, the program, and we'll get into that as well, is where does it fit? It really is helping to generate new leads in a way with the virtual classes and self-paced. Those are two portions of the labs. They're both breadth motions. What we want to talk about is the actual in-person hands-on labs, and that's a one-to-one or one-to-few type of thing. So whether you're doing an event for maybe you're going segmented, you want to go vertical-wise, or you're just going into one customer, it allows you to sit down and talk with them and help drive that message and drive your services and how you're going to help them reach where they need to be. And as you can see on the bottom there, it is free. There isn't, you may have heard of CIE and those, which is a wonderful program, but there's kits. We take care of all the setup. So there is no Azure passes you need to have. We've done all that on the backside. We own the infrastructure. You own asking for going into the website, which I'll show you. So booking a session and making sure your folks are trained. There is no hardware, so this could be BYOD. I mean, you can show up as long as they have RDP on their laptop and the ports are open. You can do it at any point. Again, that's where the remote access is. All of the supporting content, whether that is your demand gen or the actual content that you're showing that help you walk through the scenarios and the experiences that they'll be doing, we provide that for you. And again, hands-on. I mean, really seeing is believing, but really getting your hands on, it makes it concrete. Just quickly about where the program kind of lands, if you're thinking about, well, where would this fit? With the virtual classes and the self-paced labs, that's really about generating leads and a breadth play. That the hands-on lab, so you think about the hands-on workshops or you're doing them one-on-one, they really land well in that create value. So that 20 to 40% is really the big area. You have customers that are trying to develop a strategy or have no idea, or they started a strategy that didn't have anybody to help them. And now they're able to see, now I understand why I need to have self-service provisioning, so my DevOps team doesn't have to wait or contact, IT. They can go ahead and hit a button because marketing said I needed this website up. It's Monday morning and they're going to launch something on Saturday. Okay, great. I don't have to wait around. I go ahead and get that done. I can utilize my resources easily, expand, contract, that whole story. And that's really helping customers that don't know that story. And it allows you to understand and develop that strategy. Presenting value is also there. You've been in customers and you've been with in accounts that are like, one side really loves it, the other doesn't understand the value of what they've heard. And now you're able to show that and present that value across the organization and really with the people that are going to be doing the implementation, because some have never maybe even gone in and used an Azure console before. They don't understand what that is. They don't know what Azure Data Lake actually is. What are Azure Data Services? I don't know what that is either. How does it work? Why is this important to me? Because this is my role and I never deal with that. Well, this is why it makes you better. And so it really presents that value. And then prove value in the US, not as much, but it does, because it is proving that value. The reason that's there and highlighted is that, we see a lot of folks that has proved that value. So you're able to still do a POC, but you're condensing it down to just working on one little area. And all three of those steps helps pull that sale in. So if you can pull a sale in, a contract in by 1 month, that is helping you, helping your sales, and helping your company. And that's where that is. It's also something that we do for, you may have people within your organization you need to train. We're actually utilizing this program with as the training for our partners. Learn about our experiences, and then they turn around and they're taking this program, now that they've trained themselves, to go out and use it as a selling tool. So it's a wonderful tool that can reach all the way across your sales cycle. Now, as I had mentioned earlier, it's not just one area. It goes across all content tracks. So I know most of you here are around the data area, but there is a transform the data center. There is enterprise mobility, and cloud app development will be coming out in in early FY18, our FY18. So you guys know that's June 1st. In that time frame. But it lets you do that. So you're seeing that you're dealing with data management. SQL Server 2016. We'll be launching new modules on 2017. Cortana and Data Intelligence, that's rolling out now. Business Intelligence is already there, and I'll show you a little bit of that. And Data for Development is another track that's out there to show you how to use data and then how to utilize that and create applications to move forward from there. So as you can see, it does touch everything, and the products aren't, again, siloed. It is, why am I using Azure and Visual Studio? How do I use SQL Management Server? What am I doing? This allows you to see everything rather than just one area. So as you're thinking about, well, how do you use this type of workshop? And I'm almost, this is the last slide, and I'll get into the nuts and bolts here in a second, is what you're looking on the right, sample event agenda. If you're doing a full day, this is where you're going in and talking to your business decision makers and everything about the value. You also want your IT pros there because they own that, and then you work through your roundtable. But you can also just go in and say, hey, this person, all they care about is JSON, and I'm going to go ahead and do a 1-hour hands-on lab. I'm going to talk to them about it, how we help you with this, and now let's get your hands on that. The content is malleable enough in the decks. We provide you that. You then put your content in there as well. So not just these are what you need to know. This is how we help you move from A to B to C. So this is just kind of the way you do it. You all know, you target your accounts, you have the people, where you're going to do it, you book it out, and then you move forward. And that gets us to resources. So I'm going to come over here. So we have a website here, which is Microsoft.com WAC Hands-On Labs. I'm actually already logged in. If you came here, there'd be a button that said, log in, and partners log in with your MPN. So if your MPN is tied to your MSA, you use that. If you have another code, you would get in, but you would show up here and you would look at your you would actually sign in here and it shows up as the field portal. And so you can see here, you can see a lot of the work that I've got coming with sessions that we're doing. All my completed sessions, there's a lot of data that works in here, and how you're working. So, but for resources wise, let's look at some workshop tracks. So this is to help you understand what is actually out there. Let's look at business intelligence. Let's explore the Power BI. So this helps you understand what is the experience. So the new all new Power BI desktop, put visual, and then the stories. What is going on? How is Richard and Joel and Amanda, how are they working through as, Contoso? How are they managing their business and how are they growing? And this is what that talks about. And then you can see the technologies that are there. So in this one, it's a 30-minute duration on that one. You're using SQL Server, Power BI, and Visual Studio. If you wanted to come down here to business intelligence, again, these are more around SQL Server. If I wanted to come down to data management, again, this is around 2016. It's, again, more of the SQL Server work. Resources-wise, slowly it'll turn. This is where you have all the data for actually performing or getting ready to do. So this is where your demand gen information is. This is where a lot of your training videos are. So what is an overview of this? So you can, if you have new people who are coming in, you want to help them understand this is it. How do you plan a workshop? So you have the templates. You have your facilitator guide. This is something we review to understand, oh, this is how I facilitate. These are things I should think about when I'm doing that. We also will be having training where we do that for you as well, live and virtually. Workshop copy blocks. This is to allow you to have the copy so you can take that, hey, I already have content. I already have a email message, or I want to tweet something. This gives you that copy. You can say, hey, I'm gonna throw this one-liner and say, and so you're able to do that. So this is approved copy around that. Here's your email templates. Do you need a banner? You can utilize ours, so you're tying in and really showing that that tie-in there. How to use a tiny URL. Tiny URLs is how you actually do the logins. So when you show up to a customer, there is no logging in that they need to do. There's nothing other than typing in the tiny URL and saying, I'm a new user, put in my name, Kevin. So I'm going to go Kevin E because it's my nickname in case there's another Kevin. Now I know I'm in and you're logged in and you're actually using RDP and you're into the session. And we'll show that in a second. So all of this type of information. Now you're also looking into, okay, great. So here's your click-through demos. These are there for helping you to understand, and your folks, if they wanted to train offline. We also provide, of course, live training seats so they can walk through and actually understand. When I click on that, it's going to take 35 seconds. That's why I want to then talk about, hey, by the way, what you're going to do in the next session. This is how it works, and be able to make that a fun tool. It also works when you're in areas like we were at Convergence in Orlando and the PBX caught on fire and we had no internet. Well, I used our click-through demos to keep showing the program and the platform. So, and we also provide in training plan information as well as your discussion decks. These are the decks that you would utilize when you're going to the customer. So it's already set in. This is the vision of the product. This is where we're taking the product. These are the scenarios you're doing, and then you're able to go ahead and throw in your information around each one of those. So you're able to have the information that is consistent across Microsoft, as well as then pointing out where you're going to help your customer, tied into what you're showing them that day. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So what I've already done, actually, let's come over here. So what I've done here, credentials, by putting in the tiny URL, I just use a facilitator. This is what you would get as a training. If you were doing a customer one, you'd have facilitator, and then you'd have customer. You'd just be signing in that way. But you can see how that is. Now, it pulls it up. Now we are ready to go. And so, by signing up with this and by how you booked that, you're able to then come in and say, and you're able to book these, and I'll show that to you in a second. But I wanted to get to this because I know we're running short on time, and this is very important. How the lab works in. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and do, as you can see here, I don't have to do A to do B. I don't have to do 1 to do 2. But what it does here is it tells you about the product and what's going on. So there's a story about this. What is that story? And now what is Contoso doing here? As an organization, they're looking to leverage the power of advanced analytics to find patterns. So what is their business need? What are their technical challenges? And by the way, in this, you're going to use advanced analytics and Polybase and blob storage and big data. Sweet. Okay, I'm going to come over here. And we utilize the snap feature. Of course, it makes it an easy. There's not another screen. There's not paper that you have to use. It all snaps in. And now Benita, and Benita, by the way, you'll know from when you learn about this, Benita is the sales manager. So, she knows that one of the Contoso new products, Yellow Turing. So this is the story. What's going on? It's a real world action. And now I'm going to open up Edge browser. and you're working through all of this. So by the way, I always lose where I'm at. So you want to browse to this. So you can go ahead and copy and paste that. And you can see here we're moving through. If you were doing copying code for your worksheet, you know, here you got to put in your username and password and the credentials. Again, we've set all these up for you. Again, if it was Azure, there's another one in here. I would have shown you Azure. The Azure instance is already done. So you're not worrying about, do I have an Azure pass or how long is this going to be up? Well, it's up for as long as you've requested it, and they're all set in and moving forward. So if I wanted to do all this, I'm working through, okay, great. This is the story. This is everything I'm doing. And that we finished that one. Now we're going to move to the next one. And again, executing R models in SQL Server. Okay, so now you can open up RStudio. And this one only has 2 stories, and then there's your conclusion. And then at the end, what's your feedback? What are your comments? This is also important because this is where people, you ask them to let you know, hey, what did you like? What did you see? What maybe you can put in this area? Is this something that's important to you? And then you get to see this information from those customers. So you're gaining that information through the portal. So that's how you would go about working with this program and utilizing that tool. I'm going to go back here to resources, by the way, and I'm going to come up to my dashboard just so you guys can see how quick that is. I want to book a session. And when you log in as a partner, you'd be doing the same thing. So you don't have to worry about, oh, do I need to contact somebody at Microsoft? I want to get this going. You can get this going today. So a facilitator training is always the first one up. If you're just coming in, I want to do a facilitation training. I want to select my track. I want to select my date. That's great. But if you're going to do a customer session, well, then what's the purpose? Well, you know what? It's an identify value. I'm doing an event. Excellent. Do you know the customers? No, but hopefully you'll be able to find out afterwards. The biggest one here is how many people are going to be there. Well, you know what? We're going to have 20 people. I think we're going to have 15, but I'm going to put in 20. You never know. What's your track? Well, I'm going to do business intelligence, and I'm doing both. Maybe you're only going there, you don't really need Explore Power BI. Then there's that. You can just select that. This is the only one we built. Where are you? What's your time zone? Where are you going to do this at? You know what? I'm doing it at a training. You're a partner. You're doing it at your facility. What's the date that this is going to be? Currently, you need to book about 7 days out. As we build the platform and expand its ability, that time frame will come in. But right now, we have about 300 to 350 seats a day to use, and we're expanding that out to 3,000. So we're well on that way, but right now we still let everybody know it's about 350, which is pretty good because normally you're going to see a customer and you're doing 10 at the most. If you're going to do an event, let us know and we'll work with you as that. Adding a facilitator, so I'm going to go ahead here. If you are as a partner, you'd be able to find facilitators. So that's me right there. And you go ahead and pick that. If you don't, and it was, I go this way, and you don't have it, no, I'm sorry, I don't have that, then you would add this in. The facilitator gets then a meeting invite, and then when the session is provisioned, they have that as well. All right, we only have a couple minutes left, so I wanted to move back to our slides here, resources and demo. And realistically, please go back out and learn more about the program. If you have a Microsoft Partner Manager, please contact them and think about how you can utilize this in your FY18 plans. Or if you want to spend more time and you want to talk to me directly, or you want me to show this to your teams, please do not hesitate to contact me. And I'm more than happy to sit and talk with you and help you understand more about the program.
Thank you so much, Kevin. As you can see, that was, a pretty phenomenal resource in my opinion, right? Because, I think the biggest challenge these days is trying to get all that content organized, when you're delivering that session, but, all that is made easy, with a few clicks and, completely free of charge. So I think that's an amazing resource too. So Kevin, there's one question that I'll read out to you. If you can answer. So one of the questions was, can they customize the lab and content without having to take it offline and redelivering it, like using the same infrastructure? Is that possible?
So the infrastructure, again, it's a live environment. So if you were in there and somebody said, well, what's that button do? Then you can show them that. Yes. There's also with data for development, there's a application that is used, and that is now put out on GitHub. So you can work with the customer, and you can actually download that and then add in your own tools to that. That's new, and so when we work with that, I would get the PM team in, and that's part of a deeper training. But yeah, you would be able to then access these labs and add in your own tools and where they would fit. So, but that will be sometime in mid Q1, probably end of Q1, that we have that fully flushed out.
Okay.
But as I said, it's live Azure, and if you were in there and you were talking to somebody and they're like, well, what about this? These are live accounts, so they can go in and you can change things and like, hey, we were showing this, but hey, let me walk you through this. I think this is something that's of interest to you. You actually can do that, and then when your session's over, it gets wiped out.
Yeah, no, that's great. So thank you so much. Yeah, I think that sounds great. And if you have any questions, guys, again, feel free to leverage Kevin. He shared his contact and also the Yammer group, right? So you can always post it back, and we'll get it to the right teams. But yeah, this was very useful. I know we are 1 minute over time. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So thank you once again, guys. And we had a really good turnout, some great questions, and it's pretty good, content around both solution templates and hands-on labs. So once again, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next community call. I'll send an invite out. The next community call is not on the calendar yet because usually, month of June is our fiscal year end. But I think with Inspire coming up, I do plan on having another call where we would go through some of the interesting and important sessions at Inspire, and I may also publish a blog article on that. So I'll send you guys more information. Again, Yammer is the forum for you guys to get plugged in and get the latest updates. So with that, we will conclude today's call and this month's call. Thank you once again, partners, and you can log out now. Thanks.
Thank you very much.